Hello everyone, my name is Dame Julie Okah-Donli. I've been given a very broad topic to discuss. It's actually, I divided it into 3 questions. The need for protection and recovery for victims of trafficking and the effect it has on the ability to build effective prosecutions on traffickers. Secondly, why does the UN spearhead a fund on this? And thirdly, do you see human rights as a direct parallel, alignment with core Christian values? Now, what does protection and recovery for victims of trafficking entail? First of all, victims of trafficking must be identified. That is one very crucial point that a lot of people miss out. Now we have victims who are refugees, who are asylum seekers, who are irregular migrants stuck. But most of the time at the destination countries, we miss out on their status. Yes, you may be asking for asylum, you may be a refugee, you may be an irregular migrant, but the question is, what is your status? Are you a victim of trafficking? The only way you can give help or assistance is if you identify the person as a victim of trafficking. And of course, how do you protect that victim? You protect that victim by ensuring that they are kept in the shelters, they are given medical support, psychosocial support, and also properly rehabilitated, and most importantly, empowered. If they want to go through formal education, find a way to help them. If they want to get a job, give them a job. If they want to do some skill acquisition training, so be it. They must be empowered to ensure that they are not re-trafficked back. And then, definition. What is human trafficking? It must have one meaning all over the world. Now, those that are signatories to the Palermo Protocol must adhere to the definition of trafficking. You find out that in most countries, unfortunately, they are signatories to the Palermo Protocol, but then they tell you that their local laws will prevail over the protocol. Then the question is, then why are you a signatory? Because if trafficking means one thing in my country, and it means something else in another country, then of course the victims of trafficking can never get justice. So we must begin to accept that all the signatories must have one language to define human trafficking. If there is no proper investigation, of course there will be no prosecution. How do you investigate if a victim is if someone is a victim of human trafficking? That's the only way you would be able to identify the traffickers and prosecute them. But if you treat all victims as irregular migrants and you do not take them aside to interview them and give them the protection and care and assistance they require, then of course you cannot prosecute anybody because the traffickers will keep going scot-free. Synergy, cooperation, joint investigations between countries, joint operations, sharing of information is very important amongst law enforcement agencies cut across countries, across borders. Trust is the key word. They must trust one another. Now, why does the UN spearhead the fund? The UN spearheads the fund because that is their contribution towards the fight against human trafficking. They are encouraging member states to take the fight seriously. Put your money where your mouth is. I use this opportunity to call on member states to donate to this fund because all the member states donate through their benefit from this fund through NGOs. So it's very important that we all donate into this very important fund. We have to fight the scourge through this common purse for a common cause. Now, human rights as a direct parallel with core Christian values. I am a Christian, and I know that one of the root causes of human trafficking is lack of respect for human rights, for your freedom, freedom of expression, freedom of movement, and so on and so forth. Now, coming from the Christian perspective, I was taught that if a child is brought up in the way of the Lord, he or she would not depart from it when they are old. Now, parents most of the time are negligent in bringing up their children the Christian way. They leave them to figure it out themselves, if they ever do anyway. When children are well brought up, they will be taught not to hate, because that's the beginning of human trafficking. When you begin to see other people as different on account of their color, their race, their religion, then there's big trouble. It will be very easy to traffic anyone, because you see them as your slaves. Human trafficking is modern day slavery. You see them as slaves. You see them as people that are not worthy to live. So you can kill easily. You can traffic. You can do just about anything. You can rape. You can maim. So the watchword here is parents bringing up their children in the way of the Lord, so they will not depart, and to learn to respect the rights of everyone. Very, very important. You train your child, and of course, we'll have a society free of human trafficking, at least brought to the barest minimum. In conclusion, I would like to say parents have a very key role to play. Bring up your kids properly. Bring them up the Christian way for those who are Christians. Bring them up the Christian way. Believe in God. Believe in the Bible. Teach them the word. The law enforcement agencies must come together. Countries must learn to synergize, work together, cooperate, and share information. Joint operations, joint investigations to ensure that we'll bring down the rate of human trafficking to the barest minimum. The CSOs, the NGOs, the medias, we must all learn to work together. And together, we shall win the war against human trafficking. Thank you for listening.